What was your best "I could never do that again if I tried it a million times" moment? I was playing kickball in my neighborhood street with a bunch of friends and a few cute girls around. I was always pretty good, so people always backed up when I was kicking. I could pitch the ball, and when I kicked it, it soared into the air at the street and straight into my friend's basketball hoop. It was a good 35 yards away. The sound it made was the best swish I've ever heard. To this day, I have never made that shot again. I was playing baseball when I was around 10. I think I was playing first base and I wasn't paying attention, and all of a sudden, a ball landed in my glove without me realizing. The pitcher threw it and the batter hit a line drive straight to me. I will never be able to do that again. I flipped a coin in my garage and it got stuck in the rafters. I walked away disappointed. 5 days later, I was walking to my car and it fell down into the shoe I was wearing. I had my phone connected to its charging cord once. I was holding it and accidentally dropped it. The cord caught on the corner of my end table, making the phone do an Indiana Jones style vine swing on the cord. Then, when it reached the apex of its swing, it detached from the cord, spun in the air and landed upright in the seat of my chair, facing me. I actually thought it was sentient for a second. Wild. My ex-girlfriend and I were leaving the local coffee shop. I drove away without knowing she left her phone on the roof, made the turn out onto a busy main street, and through the crack of her open window the phone flew in and landed in her lap. What a f***ing shock. She lost it maybe 2 weeks later. I'm very glad this will never happen again. I was walking into the pool room of a pub to join my friends sitting in the corner. As I opened the door, time slowed down. I noticed in exquisite detail just how the person taking their shot mucked it up, sending the ball flying. I saw the perfect parabola of the cue ball in the air, tracing the curve of its majestic flight, right into my nuts. That was beautiful, man. I was weight dressing and one evening when carrying out food, I tripped and fell. One plate just dropped all over the floor, smashing into a million pieces of food and china. The other plate slid across the floor and came to a stop right next to the food of the customer who had ordered that meal. Did the customer eat it? I was taping some tracing wire to a natural gas line we were installing. When I pulled the wire tight, it snapped against the pipe and I ended up hitting a wasp that was on the pipe, perfectly beheading it. Beheading. I ran out of gas while driving full speed once and managed to coast over a mile and come to a stop right at a gas pump. I had a lot on my mind. I was going through a divorce and simply didn't think about filling the gas tank. I didn't even notice I was out of gas until I felt that the acceleration was no longer working. I turned down my music just in time to hear the engine sputter out. I quickly popped my car into neutral, turned on the hazard lights, and began coasting as long as I could. By the time I reached the gas station, I was going about 4 miles per hour and had just enough momentum to make it up the embankment and to the pump. I didn't even brake until my gas cap was adjacent to the nozzle. Freshman year of high school, I was talking to a friend walking in the highway chewing gum. Gum flew out of my mouth accidentally. I panicked and kicked my foot hacky sack style and kicked the gum right back into my mouth. My friend said it was gross to keep chewing the food gum, but I said it was an act of God. I was sitting in a bar one time next to a pool table. The guy knocked the cue ball off, knocked the beer out of my hand, but I caught the ball. All was good. The guy bought me another round. I imagined the ball replacing the beer in your hand and then you trying to drink it a la Saturday morning cartoons. Was playing football in a park with about 6-7 friends when a family walked by and the eldest daughter, who must have been at least 20, shouted that if that ball comes near me, I will pop it. I consider this to be completely rude and uncalled for, as we were just playing a nice game in the middle of a park. As the family walked away, I could see her walking like she was some awesome for telling off a group of kids, so I thought to myself, I'll teach that So I took the ball in my hands and kicked it towards her, assuming, because I'm not at all athletic or skilled at sports, that it would go nowhere near her. But by some divine intervention, it conked her straight on the head from 50 yards away. The rest of the family laughed really hard at her, so she was too embarrassed to steal the ball and pop it, and her dad threw it back to us. Every person who has played football for some time has experienced the perfect headshot, but maybe not as justified as this though. I sweated a bee with my hand and somehow removed its head. I'm the king of the north. As a side note, the body kept moving for like another 15 minutes. That twitch made me nervous. I'm Australian, it was just normal summer day and I had just finished eating an icy pole and still had the stick in my hand. I walked into the gamer's room to play the PlayStation when I saw there was a huge ass white-tailed spider sitting on the wall. I said fuck it and casually tossed the stick towards it. Somehow it hit like a spear right between the abdomen and main body and sliced it clean in half. The spider didn't even move. Its abdomen and the stick fell to the floor and it was laid dead sitting on the wall. I was about 5 years old and was on a turtle kick. Told my mom I wanted a baby turtle. She told me to go find one. It was more of a go play outside kind of thing to keep me busy. Walked down through the woods and to the creek. Came back 5 minutes later with a baby turtle about the size of a $50. Still remember the look of shock on my mom's face when I walked back in the house with it. In middle school, my friends and I were joking around. I forget what exactly about, but for some reason I had said something about hiding a body in a locker and turned to the nearest locker, the kind with the combination lock built in, and playfully tried to open it up as part of the joke. I randomly twisted the lock and pulled the handle and the damn thing just opened, and inside was a black garbage bag with something big inside. I was completely floored by my dumb luck. They thought I planned it. Well, what was in the bag? I was acting in a play and whipped my hand to the right to react to what another character was saying. This was something I did every night in rehearsals, but for some reason on opening night my glasses shot right off my face. They just went flying. I have no idea how, but immediately caught them with my already outstretched right hand. The audience ate it up. They applauded like this was a tricky maneuver I had practiced every night. But it was literally something I could never do again. 2 minutes later, I whipped my head to the left to react to another character, and the glasses went airborne again, smacking the actress in the face and falling behind a prop so that they could not be easily recovered. I believe I was 13 years old at the time, so this was approximately 10 years ago. I was fishing out the dock of my parents' beach house. I went to cast and realized the fishing line into the air. A seagull was flying by at the exact time and the hook got attached to the bird. I caught a seagull with my fishing rod. I tried to reel the seagull in to remove the hook from its mouth, but the bird was having none of that. It was kinda like flying a kite. Until I decided to cut the fishing line. My friend was pretty excited when she caught a fish on her first time fishing. It turns out that she hooked it in the eye. Years ago I was ice skating when I saw a group of my school friends. They were obviously there for the first time and kind of shuffle sliding out to the center of the rink in a group of 4 without taking their feet on the ice. I was still new at this too and not very good, but I skated over to say hello. As I came up in front of them, I realized I was going too fast and tried to slow down and overbalance. I fell forward with my hand out. The heel of my hand landed on the ice and I did a perfect circle about 8 feet wide around it with my skates opposed to each other before I managed to remove my hand and stand upright again. Show off, one of my friends grumbled. This is my single greatest achievement in life. When I was just a young lad, I was eating a meatball when my friend said something funny. A chunk of meatball about the size of a small marble was thrust from my nose like a cannon. My friend's dog caught the meaty marble mid-air and ate it. I peaked early. Sounds more like the dog's achievement than yours. Sorry. When I was in high school, I was talking to a friend in the gym after school while chewing gum. She turned her head while I was talking, and just as she did, I accidentally spit my gum directly at her temple. I snapped my hand out in front of me, got the gum, and put it back in my mouth, just as she turned back to me. Didn't notice at all. I suddenly applauded my sudden onset spider reflexes and went on with the convo. Casually dropped 2 coins on a table when the one coin started spinning on top of the other, slowing down to a halt, still standing sideways. I've tried to do it again, but it's absolutely impossible. 4 AM, I'm hungry, so I go to Dunkin' Donuts. I grab whatever money I have in the car, turns out to be $4.63. So I go, make my usual order, completely obvious that I have no money. The register shows my total, $4.63. I just emptied my hand to the dude at the counter. He knows what just happened and gives me a nod of approval. I drive away with my donuts and wraps like a boss. Thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to watch other videos.